Thank you, Leon. I know we're standing between you and lunch here, but I think we have a few minutes for a couple of questions. Any questions from the audience? And again, if you could just stand and project your voice, if you wouldn't mind.
Realm is coming from contractors in the construction side. And I'm wondering, what role do you see? Number one, do you see that as well? And if that's true, how do you see the consulting realm add to innovation, or how can they innovate more? Or what's the impediment for consultants to be innovative?
I think it's a great question. It's the question of innovation. Yeah, I agree that from a mechanical perspective, the new systems that are being developed by the contractors as opposed to the consultants, it goes back to the business model. So the business model for a country like ours is that if we develop something and then we protect it, we can then get a return on that selling that protected system over and over and over again. Versus the consulting business model where you provide all of your value pretty much right as you go along, right? So it's a $1 per hour business model, and that doesn't lead towards a lot of mechanical innovation. There is innovation in analysis techniques and those kinds of things that stem from the universities and stem from the consulting community, in my view, as well. In my view, it would require a change in the business model to change the outcome of those things. But it works today. I mean, today the contractors are bringing innovative things to the marketplace, the consultants are vetting them, and the academics, in my view, are providing huge value in allowing us and have the opportunity to go ahead and do deep dives on these things. I think in the slide I showed you showed all the interaction we've had with various academics. It's been tremendous for us. Also, I find that there's a few people in the world, a few academics, a few folks in the industry that really are creative. And you want to find those people, surround yourself with them. And between you and them, you get great ideas. And that's the fun, in my view, of our profession. Answer your question, Chris?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
So question to you again, and perhaps Leon. It's my understanding that in general in Europe, there is a better interaction in terms of funding between industry and academia. It seems to be not as strong in the US. Do you see particular reasons why that might be the case?
Yeah.
So Leanne,
I can try to comment on that. So as I'm familiar with both the university systems, and so at my former university in Delft, one thing which I found, well, I didn't see happening so strong in Arizona, which is the other example, is, for example, a master thesis project. So I think our master thesis projects at the university, 80% is done in collaboration with industry. So student does an internship at the university or at the company while working on his thesis. And as a company, I know that because it's free labor, right? Or close to free labor. So an internship stipend is much less than paying a full employee. And also you have so maybe because everything is also closer, and so it's a small country, so everybody knows each other. But same things happen here, but it's not within the program of the master tracks. Undergraduate tracks, it all depends on the initiative of the student to be active and go to companies and try to take this 3 months experience, but then also thinking about what a company can then, well, that's what my experience in Dutch company again is then, that companies think, okay, we have this problem, let's spend 3 months effort on it by asking whether a student would like to solve that or look at it, not solve it, because and they don't see all the ins and outs, but by having someone working on the topic, at least you get some insights, and then the contractor or the consultant where you do the internship more easily sees the commercial potential. That's what it is.
I have one question actually for Gary online. So how do you remove the vein in the pile at the end of life?
Yeah, we didn't show it, but we developed a tool that basically just reversed what you saw in the video. You just unscrew it. That's one of the attributes of a helical pile or helical anchor system, is that they can be unscrewed and removed as well at the end of service life or whatever, the application is. So we just created a simple tool that grabs the vein and we're able to use that plate that was on there to lift the vein right back out of the ground once it's done.
Gary, if you as well on the vein, obviously you need some pull down. That's what advances the vein down in. Is there a limitation, or are you developing limitations on the types of soils that can pull that anchor down, or do you have to upsize things to address the torque or the soil that it's in?
Yeah, that's a good question. We did some initial trials with some of the larger veins with fewer of the helical flights, the plate elements, and it didn't work. We couldn't pull it. We got to a point where you could pull it for a ways and then it would stop. So we had to upsize things. And so I think actually we went way overboard as to what we needed in this particular research. But yeah, you would have to assess strengths of soils and, look at the size and diameter of your plates to generate enough of that axial thrust to pull it in. So far that's part of what we're trying to do. We're now experimenting to see if it's different in the sand versus the clay soil. So I don't have anything specifically quantitative to give you. You're right. It will make a difference.
So I think we have time for one more.
Yes, I have a question. I think it's open for all the panel. My question is, particularly in the field of biomediated geotechnical engineering, we tend to see more interactions or intersections with other fields, particularly biology or things like that. What do you think can foster these innovations if we get to interact more with different professionals from different fields? Is it more a process in which you come with the idea and then you look for the professional? What do you think works better in terms of workflow for coming with this type of solutions?
All right. Yeah, I think, well, personally, I think it's a major advantage to talk with other people outside your professions. And even within the civil engineering, you see there's at this conference, I see so many topics I know about, but I'm not a specialist. Going to these places and outside your comfort zone, pure geotech, it's really adding value to my personal growth. But also, I think, you cannot come up with a solution if you don't know how trees grow on that topic. I can read about it, but to know the ins and outs, but also the technical limitations, you need to collaborate with these other professions or other specialists. And so I think it adds value to creativity, but also to understand whether your idea is actually having some value. Any other thoughts?
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank our speakers one last time.